The following is a paid commercial program. The views expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its sponsors, advertisers, staff, management, or ownership.
Good morning. You are listening to News Talk 730 KYYA. It is time for Let's Stay Healthy Montana, brought to you by Montana Harvest Food and Supplements. Montana Harvest specializes in gluten-free, GMO-free, organic, and concentrated food sources of dense nutritional value. And they have people who actually help you. So if you need to get healthy and you want to help take your life back, get on over to Montana Harvest Food and Supplements. Give us 30 days and we'll give you your life back. Here's your host, Joe Gary.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Let's Stay Healthy. I'm Joe Gary, along with Jeremy Mahoney, our production engineer. We have Michael Ray, who's my co-host. We have Brian Bird. And we also have a special guest, Steve McCracken, with us today. And so we're going to be talking about some different things. Before we get started, basically I wanted to say that Lachelle Meidinger will be coming in the live blood cell analysis tomorrow. And there's still, I think, 2 or 3 spaces available. You can call Montana Harvest at 252-6969 if you would like to make an appointment for that tomorrow. And with that being said, we'll get right on with the show. This is going to be a different kind of a show today. And number one, before we start, I'm going to preface this before we start, is that I'm kind of sick and tired, and I know Michael Ray is sick and tired of pretty much everybody, everyone. No, I'm tired of the sickness that goes on. 75% of this country is now sick, and it's not getting better. It's never mentioned. Basically, what's going on is that we're dealing with allopathic drugs, environmental factors. Way too much sugar. Sugar is a drug. It's the most deadly drug in the world. Food chain is contaminated. The air we breathe, the water you drink. People blindly go to McDonald's and think they're really getting a great deal and they're getting nutritious food. This is all garbage. This is lies. This is the big lie that's been told forever. I'm sick and tired of it. Mindless twits on TV. They call TV broadcasters who they couldn't even spell their own name, and they clone them down in Columbus somewhere. And I pretty much have had it, and I'll be so happy to be leaving to places unknown. We are going to an island. We are starting our own clinics. We're getting away from the craziness that is. It's like what's going on here is that the reason I'm leaving is because I'm just sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of putting up with the garbage. And we will be opening our own clinic. And we will be open for business, where people can come and actually get well. We won't be feeding you any kind of garbage. So just with that being said. There are alternative ways now to get well. There are alternative ways, and we're getting blindsided every step of the way. We have a government who is completely morally bankrupt. They could care less. You have congressmen and senators who I think are just completely, well, I just kind of find them as parasitical, bottom feeders, and they don't do anything to help anyone other than themselves. But with that being said, we can still circumvent this, and we're going to start right now. And basically, what we're going to talk about is different ways that we can get well, and there's certainly you can get well. You just have to know what you're doing when you're going to want to get well. What do you think? Do you think I'm on the right track here, or I'm off base?
No. I agree with you. There's so many problems with the food sources, water sources, and basically, to just put this in a nutshell, is we're being poisoned by, I don't know how to say this, but we're being poisoned. Our bodies are being poisoned by the foods, the chemicals, the things that doctors are prescribing. I mean, all you have to do is watch TV once and watch one of these drug commercials. The drugs and the chemicals, they're killing us. The side effects from all these drugs and chemicals that we're getting to help us are actually killing us. I mean, you've seen the commercials. Go ahead and use this chemical or this drug. But by the way, we just want to warn you, if you do take this, it's going to kill you. It has all kinds of side effects. Your arm may fall off, your leg may fall off, you won't be able to breathe. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And so we're being poisoned. I mean, I hate to say this, but we're being poisoned by our own people that are generating foods and chemicals, and we're just being poisoned. And the body can only take so much of it, and then it begins to go into, a deficit condition.
Well, but I tell you what, Michael, that can all be fixed by we can just get our vaccines and everything's going to be fine.
Oh yes, that's even worse. I mean, you don't even want to go there. I mean, they're actually, we were talking about this the other day, that they're actually using the shingles vaccine to put that into the body to correct it, and it makes it worse than if you never had a vaccine.
Very true. But anyway, with that being said, and let's get into this show because we have a lot to talk about. And we have Brian with us. And Brian, I know that you do alternative, different types of methods for healing. And I know we want to go over that today because it's important, some of the results that you're getting from what the protocols that you're using now.
Oh, thanks, Joe. My name is Brian Bird. I call myself a clinical reflexologist and acupressurist. Some of the things I do are, I've taken, I guess, reflexology and I've taken it to a whole new level. And the acupressure to the point where it visibly changes people's bodies, sometimes in the first session, sometimes in repeated sessions. And there's an awful lot to go over here today, but part of the results I get are actual physical toxins that come out of people when I work on them. They're fibers, crystals, what I call soft forms. So when I started realizing that happened, these toxins that we talk about would actually come out of the body, people would, their swelling would reduce. They don't even know they're swollen, or if they do, they don't know what to do about it. And so this creates, because all these toxins were full of inflammation fluid, is what I call it. This is fluid that if you were to go on a diet or try and make a change in lifestyle, it's very difficult to get rid of. So part of it is, how I teach people to do things differently. Part of it is going to Montana Harvest and learning how to bolster your immune system and learning ways that you can work around in this toxic world. We can survive and thrive even in a toxic environment. We know that because people at Hiroshima and Nagasaki who were at ground zero survived and thrived and lived to be 100 years old. And you want to talk about toxins. So we can do this. There's hope here. So I want to throw that out there. And with some of the results here, the results are really about the people. There's not results, there's people, and the people and their stories. And so I'm not going to talk too much. I just do want to add that part of my work is also revolved around, I have this special capsule that does what I do. It pulls out toxins, it slims you down, and it gets rid of age spots, cellulite, and it seems to really, really help people. And when I say really, really help, I mean people are recovering from extraordinary problems. And when I say extraordinary, I mean people that have been to Mayo, they've had surgeries, they say they haven't got help anyplace else. And so there's people that come and see Joe and Mike at Montana Harvest, and sometimes they hit the wall. Sometimes people come to me and they hit the wall. I don't fix everyone. So between all of us, we're building this network, and let's call it a network of hope, that there's hope. We can't all go to the island, although I'm probably going to go to the island for sure, wherever that's going to be. But we can't all do that. And so we're going to teach you how to get healthy. Let's stay healthy. That's the name of the show, right? So I'm just going to start off with one of my first clients here, Steve McCracken. He's, first of all, I want to say he's just an amazing guy. He's got a great attitude. And everyone that comes in seems to, they've been in the box for a while and eventually get to the point where they realize there just isn't a box. And once they cross that bridge, then they start seeking, and then maybe they come into my place and they find something, and they find something that works. And Steve did. He found something that's been working for him, and that's coming to me and doing some other things too. And his tale is very extraordinary. Steve is he's a world-class artist who's featured in world-class museums, Museum of the Rock, he's Cody Museum. He's an expert in jewelry, making jewelry and beads. And he's taught me an awful lot about beads. I didn't know there was so much to him. So he's definitely a very unique and very colorful and very powerful and determined person. And I think that more than anything has made all the difference. But Steve started off with edema. And so I'll just kind of let Steve talk here a little bit and kind of tell his story a little bit. And then you guys can ask questions as we go along.
That sounds good. Go ahead, Steve. I'd like to know what's been going on with you in the last 5-6 months, especially after you're going to run. And also, if you can address the what he's been doing with you and how you like the capsule.
Okay, we'll first start out with, in the last 6 months, I've lost 17 pounds by going to Brian and changing some of the products that I eat and things I don't eat anymore, that my family can't believe that I've stopped eating beef and pork and continue on, and there's still other things to eat and eat more organic fresh vegetables every day, and changed my diet and my outlook on how things are going. And Brian actually started out with my feet and come up my legs, and the edema is pretty much gone. Still fighting a little bit of water retention, but I'm like 100% better than I was 5 months ago. And I'm also a type 2 diabetic, and my A1C went from about an 8.2 to 6.7 just the other day. We checked it, and I've got color back in my legs that were seemed to be a no hope situation, and the fluids moving, and I actually got toes again at work. It's just unbelievable that Brian can work on your feet and start and move up your leg and the rest of your body actually. And with that being said, I'm not sure what Brian calls this capsule I've been getting in, but I just spent an hour in it on Friday.
It's a space capsule that goes to the Stargate.
No, it's not a space capsule, but it came from China, and I believe that the Chinese have been ahead of us for a long time in the medical field. They seem to live a lot longer than we do, but I don't know what else we want to cover here. My A1C, like I said, went down, dropped dramatically, and my doctor's, he sees me and he tells me, whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Well, I want to add to there that Steve's the before and after pictures of Steve's legs it's incredible how much smaller they are, and diet doesn't totally explain that, or supplements or not. But what I call this inflammation fluid that can come right out through the skin, once it comes out, it tends to stay off. And each one of my clients that's had this extraordinary recovery, it's also about teaching people how to get their feet in neutral. And so we supinate, pronate, and that takes pressure off the organs, so that can affect organ function. And Steve was also slated for, he had kidney dysfunction, and he was slated for dialysis this fall. So that's one of the biggest things, is he doesn't have to have dialysis now. That's a big deal. The A1C, for people that don't understand that or know about that, the A1C coming down even a half a point, that might as well be 1,000 points. That's a huge deal. He's gotten off 2 different diabetes medications. He at times struggles to keep his blood sugar high enough now, whereas before when he came in, he was like, oh geez, Steve, it was like a few times I see it 230, 240. So I'd work on his legs and he'd drop down 30, 40 points in a session. 40-minute session. You get in the capsule, he also measured it and was dropping 25, 30 points. So both me and the capsule seem to reduce blood sugar. And if that continues to go on, this is not instant, but if this continues to go on, it seems to have a very dramatic effect, removing toxins, opening up blood lines in the legs, and so these things have a powerful effect. This is not a cure. This is therapeutic relief, and I want to state that I don't claim to cure or treat anything, but by working in the feet and the legs therapeutically, people do get dramatic results, and Steve is no exception this year. He was in a lot of pain when he came in. He was on a very large amount of Oxycontins, and I think the doctors out of everything are probably most impressed that probably one thing they don't see very often is like, I want to go off my Oxycontin. So that takes a mental attitude, and it also takes a reduction in pain, because people sometimes unfortunately depend on Oxycontin because it's one of the few drugs that can help them. It's a very effective pain reliever, but it's also very addictive and it hurts people. So if you can get off it, awesome. Pain is also a disease into itself. So those are some of the other extraordinary parts about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because earlier in an interview with Steve, you were sharing with us that you were on heavy doses of opiates and different chemicals and medicines from the doctor, and that takes a heavy toll on it. And going through some of this therapy with Brian, you're starting to get off those things, and you're recovering, and different things are happening. But one thing I noticed, though, that from your therapy is that you're stimulating a lot of the lymphatic system, which is helping get the toxins out of the body. And you're seeing that happen a lot, and you're talking about a lot of these fluids that develop in the body. And what happens over a period of years and time, if you're getting a lot of these chemicals, bad food, things like that, you get these fluids in it. And the lymphatic system actually will drain the lymph, because that's where a lot of that stuff goes into. So your therapy in your capsule is actually stimulating circulation, the lymphatic system, and things like that. And so it's helping get these toxins out of the body so they can recover. Do you guys agree with that? That's what's going on?
Well, I'd like to know, Steve, what do you think about that? And where would you be if you hadn't found Brian?
Well, if I hadn't found Brian, for one, I was going downhill and I could feel it because of the built up in my system of the opioids and other medicine that I was on. And it's unbelievable. The capsule, I think I've only used four times. And I've lost inches in my waist. And I have not done any exercise to do that. It was all done by just being in the capsule. And we started out at a low, I think 30 minutes, and then 40. And then I'm in there for an hour. And it's the capsule works in a manner that it's light and water, and no chemicals are added to the water, and it stimulates your whole body, and it's unbelievable the way that I feel when I get done, even just for an hour. It's been the best thing for me. I look forward to Fridays because I know I'm going to be laying in the capsule and being worked on by Brian, because he's kept on top of my inches, and I've lost inches. One day it was 4.5 inches in an hour. So and when I come back a week later, I still have the weight off, and it's working in my lymphatic system, like they're saying. I think I had heavily been, the drugs were building up in my legs, and now Brian I've got circulation going to my feet, my legs. They've changed colors. My toes have all healed up. I don't have any dark spots, like what I had when I first came in. They almost were purple, and my toes are white again.
Awesome.
It's unbelievable on what that he has been able to do. But you have to keep an open mind about what you're doing. You're using alternative medicine that we're not normally taught. But I have learned a lot through the Wheat Montana. Is that the name of your outfit? I can't think.
Montana Harvest.
Montana Harvest. Okay, on Grand Avenue. I've learned from those guys too, and they have a machine in there that can shake you up a little bit.
Hypergravity.
And it really makes a difference in what's going on in your system. When your system gets built up with medicine and it has nowhere to go, like they say, it's in your lymphatic system. And now Brian has started the process of getting all that out of me. And he talks about these crystals coming out of your skin, and it's like little shavings, and they look just like crystals come out of your skin when he works on you. And when the machine does the same thing, the capsule does the same type of thing.
We're gonna go to a break, and we'll be right back and get more into this. It's interesting.
If you have any questions, feel free to email the show. Send your questions to letsstayhealthy71@gmail.com. More of Let's Stay Healthy coming up next on News Talk 730 KYYA.
Lachelle, I understand you've been taking the Oceans Alive too. What are some things that you've been noticing?
Actually, I've noticed several things. So I've noticed much more energy. I've noticed much more clarity. I've noticed that even my overall essence, because sometimes when you wake up in the morning, you're groggy and you have to really get yourself going for the day. I wake up just raring to go. That is a true sign of energy.
How much do you take a day?
I take 15 drops. I put it in water and I drink it just like a green drink. So 15 drops every morning. working like clockwork, and it makes my day absolutely phenomenal because I know that I'm going to be happy and healthy.
That's awesome. Come to Montana Harvest and we will give you the help you need.
Hi, I'm here with Kimmy with Montana Harvest. She's talking about black cumin.
Black cumin seed oil has been used for thousands of years for improving overall health and wellness. It aids in digestion, supports a healthy immune and cardiovascular system, boosts metabolism, and promotes healthy weight loss. In fact, back in ancient Egyptian times, Cleopatra used it for beautification of her hair, skin, and nails. It contains essential fatty acids, phytosterols, vitamins, and minerals that are beneficial for total body health, and it is known to heal everything except death. I take just 2 teaspoons a day for optimal health and wellness, and it makes me feel happy and healthy.
Montana Harvest at 1710 Grand Avenue, Billings, Montana, or call for a mail order at 406-252-6969.
Hi, this is Dr. Webb with Quantum Health. I will customize an individualized care plan addressing your chiropractic, postural, and nutritional needs to help you achieve optimal health goals. Call 601-1313 to schedule. Let us know if you've seen me before and receive a complimentary gift to acknowledge your dedication to you and your family's health. Health beyond the status quo is achievable. Call 601-1313 today.
At Montana Harvest Natural Foods and Supplements, you can reclaim your health.
I am here with an outstanding young lady. Her name is Susie Peterson, and she has a tremendous testimony about organic sulfur.
Well, I've had asthma for several years, and I'm on like the highest dose of Advair and using the rescue inhaler albuterol, and just couldn't get off of it. I had to use prednisone on and off, had to be hospitalized.
What happened when you started using the organic sulfur?
Well, within 3 or 4 days, I couldn't believe the difference. I actually started forgetting to use my inhalers. That was the first indicator.
That's amazing. Congratulations, and I'm glad that you're reclaiming your health because you changed the way you think and you tried some different things. So would you recommend this to other people?
I would recommend it to every single person on the planet.
Awesome.
Be your own success story. Reclaim your health at Montana Harvest Natural Foods and Supplements, 1710 Grand, right next to Mattress King.
Hey guys, it's Kimmy with Montana Harvest. If you want a whiter, brighter smile, come in for My Magic Mud. It's an all-natural whitening tooth powder that's vegan, cruelty-free, gluten-free, non-GMO, and fluoride-free that cleans, polishes, whitens, and detoxes your teeth. And it works. After one use, I saw results. If you want some My Magic Mud, stop in today at 1710 Grand Avenue in Billings. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, 10 to 6.
This is Lachelle Meidinger. If you would like to have a live blood analysis, please call me at 406-855-4258.
And we're back with Let's Stay Healthy on News Talk 730 KYYA. Let's Stay Healthy brought to you by Montana Harvest Natural Foods and Supplements, 1710 Grand Avenue in Billings, right next to Mattress King.
Hey, welcome back to Let's Stay Healthy. I'm here with Joe, Steve, and Brian. And a lot of people are asking this question, Brian. What's in this capsule that's making it so effective? Can you explain that to our listeners?
Well, in the time I have, I can't explain it fully and that's why it's called quantum. It does work on a quantum level. It's not magic. It is science. It uses water. Just like Steve so succinctly said, it uses water. It uses light. And that's it. So there's water, light, and jet. So there's hydrotherapy, there's water. What's the difference between this and a hot tub? This particular tub it's impregnated with a semiconductor, and when light hits it, then just like in electrolysis is where you use high power voltage to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. That's what this capsule does, but it doesn't use electricity, it uses light. It's advanced technology. And when those water molecules split, that's where the magic happens. That's when it starts fixing the skin and reducing inflammation, reducing cellulite, helping veins, and removing inches. There's too much to tell you about how it ultimately works, but that is it in a nutshell. It is pure magic.
Are you seeing the same type of things that when you work on people as far as when the crystals are coming out? Or is it more effective than
good point. So, I see some crystals coming out in the tub, and this is just a whole nother topic, I believe. But when I also work on people, there's fibers, and I'm not really prepared to talk about what those are. But when those also come out, they're black fibers that can come out, and I get those on probably 1 of 4 people, and the tub sometimes can pull those out in rather dramatic fashion.
Pleomorphic.
If you were a person that didn't like someone working on your body, this is one of the greatest ways that you could be treated for what several different things. We're learning more and more about it all the time. Brian is reading and staying updated on it. But you can climb in that capsule, and it is like a hot tub, but Brian doesn't have to touch you or nothing. So people that are have conditions that they're afraid to be touched by someone, this would be a great way to help you heal yourself.
Okay, let's stay healthy.
Hey, this is Joe.
This is Joe. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. And I'm calling in to talk about Brian and the stuff that he's done.
Okay, Brian.
Hi, Joe. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good.
Thanks for calling in this morning. And so Joe's been she's been with me for, I think about a year. Is that right? So probably somewhere there. And she had a liver transplant several years ago. So was it
7 years ago?
7 years, yeah. And so as a result, she had, just one of the things. She might add more, but she had a large amount of chronic inflammation in her stomach. It was rather puffy, inordinately puffy, and she had swelling and actually all through her body, her legs and face. And even though she was still relatively thin, it looked inordinately bad. And so she had some pain, and I began working on her, and she was one of my more challenging, but one of my more rewarding clients, because when I work on people, I shrink them. I do what the capsule does. They'll start reducing in inches in size, regardless of diet or exercise. And as far as I know, Joe's one of those people. Now, Steve has made some dietary changes, but as far as I know, Joe has pretty much kept her, she's kept her diet and exercise stable. So she's never mentioned anything that she's really went out of her way to do. So this kind of recovery is also extraordinary. So with that, I'll let Joe maybe tell a little bit more. And she goes to Mayo every year to get her liver checked up on. And so I'll let you go, Joe, and tell you a little bit about what Mayo told you.
Okay. Well, this last year, summer, when I went to Mayo Clinic, they took me off 2 meds, one of them being prednisone, which I'd been on for 7 years, and the other one, nortriptyline, which I was on for my headaches. And so 2 medicines that I've been on consistently for 7 years were suddenly I'm able to be off of. When I initially came into Brian, I didn't come in for my puffiness and stuff like that. I came in for chronic neck pain that I've had since I was 19 years old. And as he was the first person in 40 years that had been able to actually reduce some of that pain, I stuck with him. And after my transplant, I was always quite thin, and I gained over 20 pounds. And as he said, a lot of inflammation, very puffy. And I had tried all kinds of things to be able to lose that, and it was impossible. So I kind of just said, okay, I'm going to be this way for the rest of my life. And he started to reduce that inflammation in my stomach, where I was actually still numb after 7 years. And I now have feeling there, and have reduced back down to my normal weight, which to me is astounding after 7 years. So that is one of the many rewards that I've received.
Oh, Michael speaking. That's fabulous. I'm glad you're doing better. You had mentioned earlier that after your transplant that you had gained a lot of weight and you were experiencing a lot of difficulties, and you went over and got in the capsule with Brian, and that's when you really begin to see some results. How long did that take for a lot of this swelling and inflammation to start going down?
Well, for me, it was before the capsule. Brian was working on my inflammation, and it took, like he said, I was one of his more challenging. It took quite a few months before it finally kind of settled in, and then the first time I was in the capsule, I saw reduction. The second time is when it was noticeable that it was just kind of continually falling off. So it only took about 2 times in that capsule before it really started working.
When you started to really notice differences in the swelling and inflammation starting to reduce, is that what you're saying?
Uh-huh.
And after a couple times in the capsule, you started seeing significant reduction in the inflammation and swelling?
Yes.
So, well, when we say notice reduction in inflammation and swelling, she's wearing completely different dress sizes now, so and pant sizes. And I'm like, you're wearing clothes that you probably wore at least, I don't know about high school, but probably college.
Close.
That's awesome. Congratulations. I had a question for Brian, though, getting back to the process that takes place in the capsule, because I think it's really important. The people really understand this, but you're talking about this process of electrolysis and hydrotherapy. So your capsule actually stimulates the body. It actually stimulates the blood system, the circular system, the lymphatic system, which really draws out a lot of this stuff. So there's a lot of scientific backing in this particular process that takes place. And one thing I really like about it, and I can see right away from studying the human body, is it definitely stimulates the lymphatic system. And I'm really into that a lot, because I think a lot of people can get rid of a lot of things that's going on in their body when they begin to do that. So it actually really stimulates the lymphatic system, and does other things too, because I know you're a reflexologist. But do you think, one last question, and then I know you want to say something. Do you think that doing the work on her body before she got into the capsule actually increased the reduction of the inflammation and the other things, the toxins, getting them out and things like that?
Well, let's see. To answer the last question first, the answer is yeah. It did help that along tremendously, and the capsule is not necessary for what I do. It's the capsule. I think Steve kind of nailed it. It's a great way for people that maybe don't want to be touched. The neat thing about the capsule is that and it's just, I can't really go into it today because I have more callers, but you'll lose inches in it. And the neat thing about it is, unlike stimulating the lymphatic system, if you lose fluid in the lymphatic system, that's one thing. But to lose fat cells, that's something completely different. And so I'm seeing people with consistent reductions, and they're keeping them off regardless of diet or exercise. Now, if you went out to the all-you-can-eat buffet after the capsule every day of the week after you did this, then yeah. But if your weight is stable, if you're kind of doing the right things, you will lose without much exercise, which is pretty nice, because some people are exercise compromised. They don't feel good. They don't, there's just different things going on here. Yeah, so it's I like to say that I'm like peanut butter and like the capsule's jelly, and so we're similar but different. And so the capsule does certain things that I don't do, and then I do certain things the capsule doesn't do. So and that's just a matter of body work. So, and then direct pressure, lots of pressure, and use on the body. So I've never had anyone complain about pain when I say lots of pressure. That's also the interesting thing. I can work quite deeply in people's bodies, and they just generally say they feel light pressure. Joe also was remarkable because she recently had a shoulder surgery, and she kept telling me that her doctor was saying, my goodness, and I worked on her shoulder. She did have a little bit of pain when I did that, but she had a remarkable recovery from the shoulder surgery. It was just dramatically enhanced. Her recovery time was probably cut in half. So.
Well, that's incredible. You're talking about the fat cells, so I have a question for you, and I don't know if you can answer it or not. But what is actually causing the fat cells to metabolize and burn off in the capsule?
There's different theories like that. Part of it is that when you create this light technology is bouncing into the semiconductor in the hull, and it actually stimulates the production of hydroxyls, which are oxygen-hydrogen combinations that when they then become bubbles, they'll actually implode instead of exploding. That's called cavitation. So cavitation has been well known to reduce fat cells, and it does it very gently through the use of water. So it's just light and water, but the result is amazing, So and reduction of age spots is absolutely crazy too.
Okay, Joe, we have to get going right now. We have someone else calling in, but I want to thank you for joining us. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Let's stay healthy. This is Joe. Gary.
Hey, Joe. This is Jim Jensen.
Hey, Jim. How you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Glad you called in, and I know that we'd like to ask you a few questions about. I know you've been seeing Brian for quite a while, and Brian, you want to preface this?
Hey, Jim. How's it going?
Good. Good morning.
Anyways, glad to have you on the show. So go ahead, Brian.
You bet.
Hey, so Jim's one of my favorite clients, and just a little bit about Jim. He's when he first came in, I had a lady that was sitting on the couch, and she goes, and when he first came in, I thought, my gosh, this guy looks familiar, and then the one lady that was sitting on the couch, she goes, are you Santa Claus? And he goes, well, it's been said that I'm probably the most photographed man in all of Montana, and he's been the local Santa Claus here for 20 plus years. I'm not sure if I got the number right, but it's 20 plus, I believe, and he's the guy you find at Westbright Plaza, and he goes up on the High Line, and of course, tens of thousands, if not more, of people have had their picture, and they still have him up on the fridge. So Jim's he's a well-known celebrity, and he came in with some extraordinary problems. Again, he had this type of atopic dermatitis, mild edema in the legs, and all that's gone. He's lost quite a few inches. The most extraordinary part of his story is that he had very, very high triglycerides, and they were in the he lost
the evil number.
Yeah, he had an evil number. He showed me in his blood work, it was 666, poor guy. And then the triglycerides very high, and he's dropped. He's been with me since I'm going to say February or March, April, May, June, so about 4 months, and he's dropped a whopping 400 points in that triglyceride. And the triglycerides are the dangerous one. His HDL dropped 250, his LDL dropped 150. He has less pain. He's starting to look like a different person, and he's well on his way to making a full recovery. Mostly his work was body work, but he's also been starting to use the capsule to help reduce his body, the BMI, which Santa Claus is going to get a whole lot more jolly and a little bit skinnier here coming up, guys. So if he's going to be Santa, you'll recognize a much more robust Norman Rockwell. Let's take that back. He runs circles around the Norman Rockwell Santa. He really does. He's amazing. One of the nicest guys you could ever meet. And how does one drop triglycerides 400 points? Because I was talking to a nurse friend of mine. She says Jim had been taking statins, and she says, well, Brian, that doesn't explain 400 points. She says that you might get a 5 to 10% reduction if he had also extraordinary change in diet and lifestyle and weight. She goes, but generally they're just there to help him from keep going up. And so when Jim first said, well, yeah, my blood work's down 400 points. I said, 400? He says, yeah, 400. I said, this is your triglycerides. He goes, this is my triglycerides. I go, 400. Yes, indeed. Your cholesterol dropped 250 points? How's that even possible? LDL dropped 150. So he's on his way. I mean, it's not perfect, but these are extraordinary changes. And I'm just going to quit talking now. I'll let you guys go.
Okay, before we continue this, we have to go to a break. We'll be right back, and so don't go away.
If you have any questions, feel free to email the show. Send your questions to letsstayhealthy71@gmail.com. More of Let's Stay Healthy coming up next on News Talk 730 KYYA.
Tammy, I know you've had some wonderful results with Super Silica.
Yes, I have. I had bone spurs, trigger fingers, and varicose veins.
Wow, you were a real mess, weren't you?
Yes, I was. But thanks to Super Silica, I've improved in every area, and the varicose veins are almost gone.
How do you use it?
I just put it in water, drink it, and put it topically on my skin. We carry it at Montana Harvest for $39.99 for 2 months supply. Come and see us at 1710 Grand Avenue in Billings, Montana. Or call 406-252-6969.
Hi, Kimmy. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm absorbing my nutrients. Is there a product at Montana Harvest that could help me with that?
I'm glad you asked because actually there is. It's called Absorb. It has prebiotics, probiotics, enzymes, and it actually clean out the plaque in the small intestines, and that's where your villi absorb all your nutrients. So if you have plaque buildup, of course you're not going to absorb any of your nutrients because there's plaque blocking that, and this will help clean that out.
And how do I take it?
You just take 2 capsules every day on an empty stomach.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a wonderful product, and it also has D3 in it too. And I know that I've noticed a difference taking it. So come to Montana Harvest, and we will give you the help you need.
This is Lachelle Meitinger. If you would like to have a live blood analysis, please call me at 406-855-4258. Hi, everyone. At Montana Harvest, we have a product called Reds 8000. It has shown superior results improving digestion, repairing leaky gut syndrome, increasing energy levels due to phytophenols, which are extremely high antioxidants. It has no harmful lectins, which are extremely toxic to the body and can cause inflammation. I take the Reds 8000 every morning and wouldn't go a day without it.
Stop in at Montana Harvest and get your Reds today.
I'm here with Tammy, and she has been taking the new progesterone cream Pro Max. Tell us a little bit about your health benefits you've been gaining from it.
Well, I've had hot flashes every half hour to an hour during the day and throughout the evening. And when I sleep, it wakes me up. I started taking Pro Max, and I've noticed significant difference. I take Pro Max 3 to 4 times per day. I also take a green drink in the evening before I go to bed. And as of right now, I'm completely hot flash free.
How long did it take for your hot flashes to go away since you've been taking it?
The hot flashes started diminishing the second day that I started taking the Pro Max.
That's amazing. Come into Montana Harvest and we will give you the help you need.
Want to make significant change in your health? Tired of going to different locations and getting varying advice and not achieving your health goals? At Quantum Health, we will customize a health approach just for you. Quantum Health will address your chiropractic, postural, and nutritional needs in one convenient location to help you achieve your ultimate health goals. Call Dr. Webb now at Quantum Health and achieve health beyond the status quo. 601-1313.
And we're back with Let's Stay Healthy on News Talk 730 KYYA. Let's Stay Healthy brought to you by Montana Harvest Natural Foods and Supplements. 1710 Grand Avenue in Billings, right next to Mattress King.
Welcome back to Let's Stay Healthy. I'm here with Joe and Brian, and we're interviewing a great individual here. He was talking earlier about how his therapy with Brian lowered his triglycerides from 666 to 241, I think, approximately. And could you kind of explain what happened between you and Brian, how the type of therapy you were doing and your testing, and I think you got in the capsule too, right?
I did.
And how you guys got that to drop, because that's significant. It's outstanding. So people that do have high triglycerides, they can definitely go see Brian. But could you kind of explain what he was doing? And Brian can also elaborate on this with you. But what kind of therapy was he doing to get your triglycerides to really lower that much?
Well,
that's
I don't know. He's a pretty knowledgeable boy, and you know what he does.
He is.
To me, the first time I went to see him, he rubbed my legs from my knee down. My blood sugar dropped. I took my meter with me. It dropped 30-some points in 1 hour, and I thought, he's got to be doing something.
Yeah.
And we just kind of kept on doing that. He got the capsule in. He said it came from China, and I think it was made for little Chinese guys because I had a heck of a time getting in and out of that thing for a while.
Wow.
But it did have some effect. I mean, the inches, the tail of the tape, didn't lie. I think I've been in it 3 times, and the inches continue to go down even when I'm not in it. The last time I did not get in the capsule, but I still lost, I don't know, a couple inches or so. So how that works, I really don't know, but I really don't care.
As long as you got your triglycerides down.
It did, and like I say, that was just something that I really didn't pay much attention to. My triglycerides, cholesterol, they've always been high, and so you better get those down. I said, okay, that's what you told my grandpa and my grandma and my mom and my dad and my uncles and everybody else. So when it went down 400 points, I said, no, that's pretty good.
That's outstanding.
And when I find out that that's not very common, then I have to give Brian the credit for that.
Absolutely.
I don't like taking medicine. I will, but I don't like doing it. I'd rather find another way.
Well, thanks for sharing that with me. I wanted to ask Brian a question, and what I keep hearing from the therapy that you're doing, and from all these great testimonies where people are recovering from the therapy and the capsule, is there seems to be a lot of operation where you're stimulating the body, you're stimulating the metabolism, you're stimulating the blood. So this is a good source, a good therapy for people to come who may have poor circulation or poor stimulation in the body, or skin problems and things like that, because your therapy and this capsule is stimulating the body.
Yeah, that's a good point. And there's also a good point that massage does that as well. And I'm not a massage therapist, so massage isn't going to pull off inches. And as far as I know, massage doesn't drop triglycerides 400 points. To understand what I do is you have to experience it. So, and that's just the kind of the bottom line. You have to come in and try it. Try the capsule, try this, then you get a better idea. What I really focus in on is taking stuff out. I want to take stuff out, and I treat everyone pretty much the same. So why it resolves around each people's sickness is very interesting. You got another call?
Go ahead.
Okay. So we'll stay with Jim. So yeah, that's interesting, because when I work on people, I don't set out to treat. I don't treat any one specific thing. It's always holistic, therapeutic relief. There's no treatment. I don't diagnose. I don't treat. So like Jim said when he came in, he goes, well, Brian didn't set out to specifically treat triglycerides or cholesterol, but when I noticed that people were coming into me 3 and 4 months, and these are just a few of the clients. There's many others that are thankful for these clients. They're willing to talk and be public about it. But I have scores of others that they just simply don't want to be on air or talk about it. Okay, we've got a call. Thanks, Jim.
This is Joe Gary. Let's Stay Healthy.
Hi, this is Betty Elliott.
Okay, Betty. How are you?
Good.
Hey, Betty. Brian Bird here. How you doing today?
I am excellent.
Excellent. So Betty is she's also one of my more amazing clients, and she's been with me probably the shortest time here. I think Betty's been with me maybe a couple months. Would that be about right? Or
yeah, about 7 weeks.
Yeah. So, and Betty's a counselor, and so she counsels me, and I counsel her, and we counsel each other, and she's been getting better as we go along this path. Betty's an amazing person. And Betty, I'll just let you tell about your experience.
Yes, I was introduced to Brian through Joe because, first of all, I had a red spot on my lower part of my leg that I had for about a year, and I didn't know what it was, and there was no pain or anything to it. So anyway, Joe told me to go see Brian, which I did, and so he worked on me a few times and noticed the spot was going down. The capsule, Brian was getting the capsule in, and so I was I've been using the capsule for about 6 sessions now, and during that time, I have noticed a continual reduction in my inflammation, as well as being it maintaining off, and the red spot on my leg definitely has gotten better. It is almost to the point of going away, and also inches on my waist. In 2 weeks, I lost 3 inches on my waist and have maintained that.
Very good. Betty's, she's kind of somewhat under embellishing the red spot on her leg. It may be related to, who knows, vein issues is kind of common for those type of atopic dermatitis, or they have iron buildup because the flow isn't quite right, and they'll start causing discoloration in the skin. Vasculitis, sometimes they call it, but it's generally not something that goes away. And hers was about the size of a small dictionary, like a small book, probably on her leg. So it's pretty disfiguring for her. So for her to be able to lose that and start wearing the clothes that she wants without feeling conscious of that is, I don't know of any other ways to get those off. And again, when she got in the tub, it was an experiment to see if it would help, and I helped, and the tub has probably been better than what I can do as far as treating that or helping giving therapeutic relief for whatever she's looking for. So she has maintained inches off, which is pretty incredible. So there's more to come in her world. So do you guys have a question?
No, I think that's great. What's happening with the capsule and the therapy and everything, it really sounds like it's working really well for a lot of people. Obviously, we heard their testimonies, so kudos to you, Brian.
Well, I think it's, the people that are coming in, they're the ones that are determined. So I think, a lot of people can recover a lot of things. You can come into Montana Harvest and recover from a lot of things. It's your determination. It's the people's will to, again, think outside the box, to let's stay healthy, just like the show says. And there's ways to do it, but we have to try. And you have to fight for your health. The older we get, the more we have to fight. And if you don't fight, you will be in serious dog, what. So keep going with that.
Okay, we don't have much time left. We want to thank Betty for joining us as well, and we're going to. I'm going to finish this. One thing I did want to add is that if you're going to be doing any kind of therapy, especially with the capsule or anything else for that matter, make sure that you have your trace minerals, especially vitamin D. That's one of the major problems. Magnesium, iodine, sulfur, and some trace minerals. You'll go a lot farther with that. And Brian, how are they get a hold of you?
Best way to book on, because I'm always usually in
and your
session.
Phone number. Yep. A lot of people don't like booking.
Yep. So the best way is billingsreflexology.com. My number's all over there, and I'll give you my number too, 591-1139. If I don't get back to you right away, please understand I'm usually in session. Again, it's billingsreflexology.com or 591-1139.
Okay. Very good. Well, we just have about a minute left, but one thing I really wanted to just say this again, the key here, the lymphatic system, everything, but you've got to get nutrients into you. I mean, there's just no way you're going to get well without them. And you're going to have to get, vitamin D is the most important by far, because there's beyond pandemic what's going on. Their NGML levels are terrible. Once again, iodine, sulfur, and take a trace mineral formula, go with the fulvic acid. The humic shell, it's probably the best one out there. It's concentrated, and you will feel a difference. And drop by and see Brian. You better tell him one more time on your website.
billingsreflexology.com or 591-1139.
Okay, we got a half minute left. Michael, you want to say anything? You want to close us out?
Yeah, sure. That's great information, especially on the nutrients and... you're going to be faced with toxins and issues and all kind of things as you live. So be sure and get in and take care of these. Take care of your body and get the right nutrients, the right therapy, and stimulate that lymphatic system, everything. So thanks all you guys. You guys are great to be with.
Thank you.
Hey, see you Wednesday.
Remember, you can hear Let's Stay Healthy on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:05 a.m. If you missed anything, you can hear the best of Sundays at 8:05 or check out the archive shows at newstalk730.com. Let's Stay Healthy is proudly brought to you by Montana Harvest, where if you give them 30 days, they'll give you your life back. Now be healthy and have a great day.
The preceding was a paid commercial program. The views expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its sponsors, advertisers, staff, management, or ownership.